Okay, let's talk about 2025. Because right now, AI isn't some futuristic sci-fi dream anymore. Nope, it's literally in your pocket, and it's completely changing one of the most personal things in all of our lives, our money.
And look, we're not talking about some small experiment here. Get ready for this number. Almost $2 trillion. That's the amount of global assets now being managed by AI-powered robo-advisors. Yeah, trillion with a T. That just goes to show you how deep AI has already woven itself into the fabric of finance.
You know, we've totally blown past the tipping point. AI isn't just a cool experiment anymore. It's essential. Something like 78% of organizations are already on board. And guess who's leading the charge? It's the younger generations, Gen Z and millennials. They're the ones turning to AI first for financial advice.
So, what does this actually mean for you and your wallet? Well, first up, let's dive into how AI is completely reimagining the way we invest and budget.
This is where it gets really interesting, when you see the then versus now. Think about the old way, right? Financial advice was expensive, you could only get it from 9 to 5, and let's be honest, it came with all sorts of human biases. Now, the AI model, it's cheap, it's on demand 24/7, but, and this is a huge but, it just swaps out that human bias for something new. Algorithmic bias. We'll circle back to that for sure.
And the tools we have now, I mean, come on. Forget those boring old spreadsheets. You can literally get an AI chatbot that roasts your spending to keep you on track. Or how about an app that acts like your own personal detective, sniffing out and canceling all those subscriptions you totally forgot you were even paying for?
This is where we see a really fascinating psychological shift. A new report found that people feel like they can ask AI all those, embarrassing money questions. The kind of stuff they would just never feel comfortable asking another person. It completely removes that fear of being judged, which makes financial advice so much more accessible on a really personal level.
All right, let's talk about access. Because this goes way beyond just budgeting. AI is unlocking credit and loans for millions of people. But, and here's the twist, that access isn't always created equal.
Okay, so here's the massive upside. In the US alone, you've got 45 million people who are credit invisible. That basically means they don't have enough of a credit history for the old systems to even give them a score. AI is starting to change that. It's potentially opening the door to loans and mortgages for a whole bunch of people who were completely shut out before.
So, you might be wondering, how does this even work? Well, instead of just looking at old loans, these AI models dig into what's called alternative data. We're talking about things like, do you pay your utility bills on time? What's your mobile phone usage like? It uses all that info to predict how likely you are to pay back a loan. And the crazy part is, the system is always learning, always refining itself, getting smarter and smarter over time.
But here's where it gets really dark. There's a huge downside. A study from UC Berkeley found that some of these AI mortgage systems were actually charging minority borrowers higher interest rates than white borrowers for the exact same loan. It's a perfect example of how a tool that was supposed to create more inclusion can end up doing the complete opposite.
And that leads us right to the big question hanging over this entire revolution, doesn't it? What's the catch? We've seen all the amazing potential, but now we have to talk about the risks. Because for all its power, AI in finance definitely has a dark side. So let's start unpacking some of these hidden dangers.
The absolute core of the problem is something called algorithmic bias. See, an AI learns from data. So if the data you feed it reflects decades of real-world societal bias in lending, well, the AI doesn't just learn those biases, it automates them. It amplifies them on a massive scale, because to the machine, it just looks like a successful pattern.
And of course, as more and more of our financial lives go digital, the security risks just explode. I mean, Stanford's AI Index report found that security incidents tied to AI shot up over 56% in just 1 year. It makes sense, right? These super powerful systems are becoming huge targets for cyber attacks. Here's something you absolutely have to remember. Your data is the fuel that makes these AIs run. So please never upload sensitive stuff like bank statements or give your social security number to some public, cloud-based AI. That information can get saved, stored, and used in ways you never, ever intended. And this one might be the most alarming stat of all. More than half, that's right, over 50%, of people who followed financial advice from an AI said they ended up making a poor decision or a mistake because of it. It's just a huge, flashing reminder that these systems are not perfect. Blindly trusting the algorithm can seriously cost you.
So where does all this leave us? It's time to weigh the incredible opportunity against the very real peril to figure out what our financial future really looks like. When you boil it all down, this whole revolution is really a double-edged sword. On one side, you've got AI making these super sophisticated financial tools available to pretty much everyone, which is a giant leap for financial inclusion. But on the other side, it's bringing in all these new, complex risks, like systemic bias and major security holes.
And that leaves us with one final, critical question to think about. As we all start handing over more and more of our financial decisions to an algorithm, you really have to stop and ask yourself who or what is actually in control here.